Welcome back, surfers. It is Joele and this is Rustlers Atom 0.3 Cargo. In the last video we got Rust installed and ran our very first program. Today we are going to explore Cargo. So, what is Cargo exactly? Think of it like NPM for Node.js or Maven for Java. Cargo takes care of your project structure, your builds, your dependencies, your tests, and your documentation. Every Rust project you'll see in the wild is managed with the Cargo, so learning it is absolutely essential. To start fresh, let's create a new project. So, open your terminal and simply write cargo new hello. As you can see, when you open the folder, this command creates a folder called hello with a cargo tom file, a configuration file, and a source folder. If you open the source folder, you can find the main rs, the main source file of this project. This is the standard layout of any Cargo project. Instead, if you want a library, not a binary executable, you can run another command. Cargo new my library lib args. When you open my library, you find a very similar structure. You have a source file, a source folder, sorry. Okay. And inside the source folder, you find your library entry point. There is another situation. You can maybe you can have a folder with your source code that is already in your machine. For example, make dir sample source folder. Inside you can have your main rs file. Okay, in this situation you can use the cargo init project to turn any folder in a cargo and Rust compatible folder. If you write cargo init, Cargo create for you the configuration file, the source file, and the git ignore file. When you have a ready to use source project, for example, we can use our hello project, you can build it with cargo build. This compile the code and put the result in the target debug folder. Okay. This compile a debug build, which is fast to compile but slower to run. If you want an optimized release binary, you can use another command, cargo build. The command is the same, but you can use the release argument. Those artifacts go into the target release folder. Here we are. But usually you won't even run the binary manually. So Cargo have a shortcut for this. The shortcut is cargo run. this build and run the project in one single step. And if your program takes argument, you can pass them with the run command after 2 dashes. For example, you can write cargo run port 8080. This command pass the port args to your executable. When you iterating quickly and don't want a full binary, you can simply use cargo check. This compile your code just enough to catch errors without producing any binaries, which is much faster during the development. Okay, Rust has testing baked right into cargo. So we can understand how to use these testing capabilities with a very short example. You can open source main rs. Okay, maybe we can write a very simple function called sum. At the moment you can ignore almost everything about this code because we are focused only to understand how the test environment work in cargo. So we have 2 parameters, 2 numbers, a and b, and this function return another numbers. This number is the result of a plus b. Okay. In our main we can use this function sum 5 plus 7. Hello world, the sum is sum. No, result. Okay. In this way we can run our source and okay, the function works, but we can write a proper test of this function. Okay, we can write a proper test in another module, a test module, config test, module tests, use super to access our sum function. Okay, it's needed the squared parenthesis. Our simple, very simple test is this. We simply check with an assertion that the sum of 2 and 3 is 5. Very complex math. Okay. If I don't make any mistake, we can run the test, simply write cargo test. Okay, I missed something. Assert equal, okay, I need to use the right name. Assert equal, okay. And I missed something else, I hope no. Okay. As you can see, the cargo run the test and write the result of every single test. In this case, we run one test and this test is passed. If we want to run a specific test by name, you can filter it using cargo test sum. In this case, the result is the same because we have only one test, but if you have many tests, this command is very useful. By convention, unit test live right next to your code inside the source folder, while integration tests go into a separate test directory. Okay. We can go to the next and last argument, the dependencies management. With cargo, managing dependencies is also simple. Normally, you can direct edit the cargo toml file by hand. The cargo toml file have this form. Okay, look exactly like this. But cargo has a handy command to manage dependencies without manually edit this file. For example, if we want to add a new library, we can use the command cargo add and followed by the name of the library. In this case, we can install a standard tools library. Cargo add standard tools. Okay, if we again edit the cargo toml file, now we can find a specific version, the last version of the standard tool. With the cargo add command, you can also select specific feature of a library. For example, you can install serd, a cargo add serd, with a single feature, derive. Serd. Okay. And now we have another line in our configuration file that specify all the list of features that I want to use in my project. If I want to update all the dependencies, simply write cargo update. And if you want to see the tree of dependencies, you can write cargo tree. Perfect. Cargo look is another file that makes sure that you and your teammates are all using exactly the same version, so your builds stay reproducible. Rust also has great tooling for keeping code clean. For format all source file in your project, simply run cargo fmt. To catch common mistakes and improve the code quality, you can run cargo clippy that do a analysis of your code. For example, here is a couple of suggestions that you can use to improve the quality of the code. When you want to generate and see the documentation, you can use the doc command, cargo doc. In this way, you simply generate the documentation, and with the cargo doc open, you also open a browser that run the documentation. There is a very interesting thing. This documentation even includes docs for your dependencies. So Cargo generates a comprehensive documentation for your project. Okay, for today's video it's all. See you in the next Atom, and don't forget to keep your thinking cap on.